Hi, I'm so excited to film. I've been on the go, but I'm excited to film this because we're talking about one of my favorite subjects, but I do need to eat first. I'm scrolling on TikTok. Got my coffee, got my little apple. BRB. Okay, we're back. I had to do 17 things, including a birthday post because it's everybody's Leo birthday. Hello and welcome back to Big Little Mia. I haven't sat down and actually chatted because I've been live, laugh, loving, and I've been showing everybody that I've been live, laugh, loving, but I think that people like when I sit down and chat, so let's talk. So a little refresher, if you have not watched our last videos, whose are? It's me, I'm not a they. If you have not watched my last videos, please at least watch the last two because all the moves is a series within a series. So this is part 3 of all the moves, Mexico City. I've been very excited to film this because I love Mexico City. I love talking about Mexico City. I love it. But let's get into our fit theme of the day. What am I giving? I feel like, also, hold on, let me show you the pants. It's cute. I'm cute today. As you kind of see, I had on another sweater, but it's hot. It gets hot. It is what it is. What am I giving? I feel like I give Aritzia Fit Model before their new creative director, because what the fuck is going on with Aritzia? Why does Aritzia look like a mix of Aeropostale, Victoria's Secret paint? It's not good. It's not getting, it's like hire the other person back, okay? I might be giving kind of like Lower East Side, like I have a secret trust fund, but I only sleep with broke artists. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Also, to the people who don't know that this is vintage Gucci cashmere, the people don't know. And I don't need the people to know. You want to know why? Because I know, and that's all that matters. Okay? Because the people are out here using the word chic like it's a preposition. Stop using chic. We've killed the word chic. You know what I think is chic? 5 things that are chic. I actually don't give a fuck. Because I don't think the same things are chic that you think. So what? I can make a whole video about how much I don't give a fuck, but that's not why we're here. That's not. Maybe another video. Okay, so I think in the last video, I stopped at why I came to Mexico City. So I truthfully did not have a reason to come to Mexico City. I think in my last video I mentioned I had 2 weeks off of vacation. I had postponed my trip to Italy and I still wanted to go somewhere. And truthfully, I booked it. I might have booked it like a week before my original vacation. So I also needed something to be affordable. So I went to Mexico City in October of 2023, fell in love, and leaving there, I was like, okay, I want to spend more time. Like I really would like to spend more time there. I don't know how, because at this point, I was looking at my life in a different way. I recognized that marriage and children were not in the cards for me right now. So what was in the cards? You know, technically a dream that I had been pursuing. It's not that I had failed or flopped, or it's not that it could happen, but it wasn't going to happen for me at that point. So I started to think, what else could my life look like? It's just me. Like I don't even have an animal. It was just me. So I knew I wanted to spend a little bit more time there. And I want to say, my birthday is October. I want to say November, December. My friend whose townhouse that I was renting, shout out to Allison, she was like, hey, we're going to move her and her now husband. She has a baby. It's amazing. So happy for her. But they were going to move back in. And I was like, fuck. But then I also was like, wait. I called that in. And I also had already booked a trip to Vancouver randomly because it was cheap during Martin Luther King Day weekend. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll spend some time abroad. That was also something that I had never really considered in my life until then. I've always had gone on trips abroad, but I've never spent any more in maybe like a week or two. No, more than 2 weeks in another country at a time. So I was like, maybe this is the time. You know, I'm young, I'm able. Who sold us the lie that we needed to wait till retirement?
Who said that? Who said that? Who said that?
Because I'm gonna be old. And then I can't walk up the stairs of Positano when I'm 6. I'm not listening to anything that people say anymore, because that is the dumbest thing that I heard. Are my elbows ashy? Sorry. I hate being ashy. It's just a struggle. I can't do it. So I had planned out, truthfully, like this whole South American trip. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go here, here, and here, and here, and here. I'm gonna be a digital nomad. It's gonna be me and my MacBook Air against the world, you know? Like, the pandemic, they really hyped up digital nomad. And I think digital nomading works great for some people. Not for people who have a lot of clothes. Sorry. I'm not about to be out here with a backpack. I'm not backpacking. No. I need a shower everywhere I go. Even when I went to Guatemala, they were like, oh, if you do this hike, you can't shower for 2 days. Well, then I'm not doing the hike. What? No. But that was my initial plan to kind of hop around South America. So I had my trip to Vancouver. I said, okay, I will go through with this plan if I can find a reasonable ticket back to Mexico City. Out of nowhere, I found a direct flight from Vancouver to Mexico City for $200 flat on Aeromexico. I was like, the universe wants me to go. The universe wants me to go. Hey, so I think December, my family came to Arizona for Christmas. And I had already kind of talked about this with my mom, but I told the rest of my family, and they were like, of course you're going somewhere else. But my initial plan, I was like, okay. My friend said they were only going to be here for 4 months. I'll travel for 4 months. I'll come back. I'll continue my life. I would have had a once-in-a-lifetime trip. That was my plan. Didn't go to plan. Plan failed. Plan B, C, D showed up. But I had no clue initially when I was going back into it. So I threw all my stuff in storage, and let's see the day that I left for Vancouver. It's my friend Paco's birthday today. I already wished him happy birthday. I put up a good post, and I put up a good post where I look good in it because I'm a Libra and he's a Leo. Like, we can't be posting ugly photos of each other. That's not gonna happen. The friendship might end. When did I go to Vancouver? Vancouver, I got to Vancouver January 15. Yes, 14th, 15th of 2024. First of all, it was freezing. It might look like I have no clothes on, but I have on 3 pairs of leggings. I have on a sports bra, a tank top, a heat tech top, another sweater, like pullover top, and then a full knit sweater, and then this puffer coat. It's 9 degrees outside. So let's see if I can weather this storm. It was freezing. Like, when I say freezing, it was 8 degrees Fahrenheit. Hold on, let me look up Celsius.
Okay, so problem 1 on the world tour. We're officially on north to south. I don't know Celsius, so I just went to go mess with the thermostat because it's gonna be colder tomorrow. So I just want to make sure I'm not cold. I don't know Celsius, so I'm gonna look that up.
I'm getting it together. Hey Siri, if it's 8 degrees Fahrenheit, what is that in Celsius? Okay, we also need to have a fucking conversation. What the fuck did Siri get so fucking terrible? I don't want to go on ChatGPT. I don't want to support Sam. That's his name. I don't want to support him, so now I gotta Google it myself. But see, that's what I get. That's what I get for trying to be cute. What is 8 degrees Fahrenheit in Celsius? See, and I found it quicker because I wanted to be cute. Okay, so it was 8 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 13 Celsius. I was cold, and that was the high. Yes, it's as cold as it looks. And it might look like I don't have any clothes on. I got on 3 pairs of layers and 6 shirts. Okay, I gotta go. Gotta go. And we all know that Vancouver's by the water. So, and then it started snowing. So that trip truthfully was like a great tee up to Mexico City. Like I just stayed in my hotel room and ordered every Asian food, Vietnamese, Indian, Chinese, their food scene in Vancouver. If you haven't gone, it was so good. And watched Made in Chelsea for 4 days before I went to Mexico City. I love Made in Chelsea. Nobody's hip to Made in Chelsea. And I just want to find my Made in Chelsea people. When I lived in New York, I had a roommate from San Francisco and she put me on to Made in Chelsea and I've been hooked ever since. Every season I'm clocked in and it's so stupid, but they have real money and I love it. And they go to good places and the filming is good. Anyway, so I went from Vancouver to Mexico City. I genuinely had 3 bags and my laptop, and I had no clue what to expect. If you would have told me 2 years ago that I would still be here in some capacity, I wouldn't have believed it. I really wouldn't have. So when I first got here, I had no friends. I didn't know a soul, to be honest. I just was like, I like this place, I'll figure it out. I didn't know anybody. So I did what every normal person does. I downloaded a dating app. Yes, I did. And I went on one date with a man from Monterrey, and that we're still recovering there. We haven't really dated a Mexican man since then. So happy. And if you know, we haven't. But I did learn some things from him, and he showed me some restaurants and some places so I could get my grounding. Ladies, okay? I'm not even talking about for a free dinner. Women don't want free dinner. My foundation is more expensive than this whole dinner. My foundation is more expensive than a dinner. My outfit is more expensive than dinner. My purse is more expensive than a dinner. I can pay for my own dinner. Men, let's cut that shit out. Just pay for a meal for me. What is wrong? We need to get back to the basics. But if you're new to an area and like you don't know certain things, yeah, I do think that dating can help, and it opens up kind of a new world. You're like, oh, what's this place? What's this? That doesn't have to be your long-term partner. It just helped me understand my bearings and my layout. I mean, he technically wasn't a local, but like he was a Mexican national, so like I got a lot of information from him. So that was really nice. But I quickly realized that I needed some friends, okay? Now I'm doing a whole other video on relationships and dating and all that stuff, so I won't go into too much like culturally, but I realized quick, I said, I need some friends. I cannot be hanging out with this man and his friends. I need some friends, okay? So I wanna say, I was in Mexico City January to February, and I was there just to get a little taste. I was supposed to hop to another place. I'm like, okay, I'm getting my groundings. But then I met some people, I started dating this man, and I was like, okay, well maybe I'll just like come back here to stay. Like I was like, he was like, you should. And I was like, I don't really care about what you have to say. Like I need to gotta do something for me. I was like, no, this has to be about me. Like we can continue to date, but like this has to be for me. And I knew pretty quickly outside of him, was he like a plus to me coming, absolutely. But he was not my full-blown reason why, because moving is one thing. Moving states, I'd moved states a million times, but moving to a different country is a whole different ballgame. You have languages, you have visas, you have to build a new community. I'm also doing videos on each of those entities too, so don't worry. But I really had to think hard. Also too, my whole family is in Washington, D.C. It's one thing to move like a different state away, but when I approached them about actually moving to Mexico City, they were like, okay. Like my family's so supportive, but they're always like, another idea. Okay. And I think because I've just always proved myself to be a more responsible person, they've never tried to stop me, but it's a whole different ballgame moving to another country. So I was here in Mexico City from January to end of February. By the time I left, I said, I know I'll be coming back. I already knew that I was going to keep all my stuff in storage, and I was going to pack up some more clothes, and I was going to come back, and actually start my life here. And it was really scary. It was the scariest thing that I had done. But I knew the minute that I came back to the States, then I was in Mexico City, January, February, came back, then I was in the States, March, April, and then I came back. And that's kind of like when I came back and stayed and etc. But I knew that this was gonna be the only time in my life where I got to expand my wings in this way, and I didn't wanna let it go, Because not trying to be mean, but at any time in my life, I can go back to Arizona and potentially find a man and potentially have a kid. I'm sorry, Arizona, Philadelphia, New York, DC. I could. But I can't always live in another country. I can't always have these new experiences. I can't. That's just a fact of a matter. And I am a person that really doesn't like to live in regret, so I will try to do anything that I want to do. The only thing that I didn't fully do that I still regret to this day, and it's why I don't, I try not to not do things that I say I want to do, you know what I mean? It's like dance. Like, I like to dance, but I have stage fright. But I never tried to get over that. I just was like, fuck it, can't do it. The minute that I tried to do a 5, 6, 7, 8 in front of people, I can't do it. I can't do it. Fun fact, I was in an Oscar Mayer competition and it was time for me to sing the song. Bitch, I knew the song. I know the whole fucking song. To this day, I'm 33. Get up there, I can't say shit. I can picture it to this day. I was standing there like, I don't like big crowds. I just don't. But I've always kind of regretted that because I thought that would dance. I don't think I would have been like the Jabberwockies, but I do think it's something that I could have pursued, but I just never pushed myself. So I think I always try to make sure, let me just try. It could fail. It could fail. Also too, in life, we need to be able to fail. You have to fail, okay? You have to fail to see what you want. You have to fail to see what you like. I don't fail about every relationship. At this point, just F. Just a big old baby ain't passing. The only thing I don't pass at this point is my driving test. But you have to be afraid to not fail. You have to. So I knew that this was a calculated risk. I also knew I was gonna have to get another job because I had an American-based tech job, and I just knew a lot of things in my life were gonna have to change, and I was willing to make that change. And I can say to this day that this has been the best decision that I've ever made in my life. Even my family agrees with me. They're like, you're happier, you're more open, you are more excited about life. I can truthfully say that everywhere I've lived has always been on purpose. I think that people have always looked at me and they're like, oh, she's hopping around. Yeah, bitch, I am hopping around. Because When I was young, I saw different versions of myself. It's like that movie, like Everywhere, Everything, all whatever it is, you know, great movie, right? But like I always saw all these different versions of myself. And instead of just thinking about it, I decided to try it. I was never running away from anything. If anything, I think with every single move, I think I said this in a video, with every single move, I found myself more and more, which I'm so blessed. I am at this point where I feel like I'm the most connected and attuned to myself. But also I can be like that because I tried different versions, it didn't work. I wanted to be a Philadelphia wife, didn't work. I wanted to be a Scottsdale baddie, didn't work. I wanted to be a New York girl, didn't work. And all of those things are okay, but I tried it. And one day, if and when I have kids, I can be like, your mom tried everything. And this is what's worked for her. But I'm not gonna lie to you, international baddies. You know, I always saw her in there, but I only saw Europe. I didn't see, you know, the Central and Latin American queen that I now am. But she's here. She's here. And she's not going anywhere. And it's crazy that it took moving to Mexico City to even find this version of myself. But I do think, number one, the universe already has your story written. And number two, you have to take risks. It's just, you have to. You have to. I've watched so many people be like, I wish I did that. Well, you could have. And you just didn't. So, get off my line. Click. You know that? Like Peppa Pig episode. Peppa Pig was like, I can't whistle, and then Peppa Pig's friends like this, and whistles, and Peppa Pig goes, hang up. That's how I feel when people call me with like stupid shit that they can solve. Like, click, Dalton. I'm gonna see if I can try to put that in there, because that was hilarious, but that's how I feel. If you don't have the ambition to chase your dreams, whatever that may be, okay? I'm not saying that your dreams has to be having a business or moving around the world. It could be to be a mom or to be a wife or to open a floral shop. But if you don't chase that dream that you want, click. I'm hanging up the phone on you. I don't want to hear it. I don't. Because usually I have my money manifestation playlist on or my frequency music, and I don't have time for your energy. Nope, I don't have time for that. I rebuke you in the name of the Lord. I like to be alone because I think I'm hilarious. I think that I'm hilarious. Okay, so at this point, we have gone through all of my moves from college to now to present. So we are done with the, what am I calling these episodes? Girl, why don't I never know what? Okay, so we're done with the life episodes, okay? And now we're gonna move on to the inner work episodes. I'm reading my phone. We're moving over to inner work. So what we're gonna talk about in inner work is truthfully how I felt during all of these different phases. So we're gonna talk about healing, we're gonna talk about therapy, we're gonna talk about relationships, we're gonna talk about family, we're gonna talk about grief, we're gonna talk about all of those things, because at the same time throughout my journey, there has been a lot of obstacles and roadblocks. Clearly it hasn't held a bad bitch down, but I just don't think we talk about them enough. I think we have too many conversations about our achievements and our successes and our wins. And that's why I think that it's hard for people and younger generations to deal with hardship or deal with any sort of rejection, because we're not having those conversations enough. If I have to see one more fucking podcast with Jay Shetty talking about his accomplishments, I'm going to lose my mind. Your contacts aren't even real. You know? I can't listen to Khloe Kardashian talk about Dash, Skims, and Good American. I can't. Not Skims, but you know what I mean. Like, I want to hear about when y'all were in the corner crying, laid up. That's what I want. I don't need Emma Grede to bring anybody else on that is not going to tell me about the hardships. So that's what we're talking about here at Big Little Mia. And then after we talk about the inner works, which is going to be 5 episodes. So the life episodes have been 5 episodes. Inner work is going to be 5 episodes. And then we're going to move on to logistics, which will be another 5 episodes. Because I really want to talk about how do you do it? I think that's the conversation, again, that we're not having. We're not talking about mental health, and we're not talking about how to do it. Now, granted, everything is different for everybody, right? But how do you get a visa? How do you move your income overseas? How do you build a community? How do you career pivot? How do you do it? People need help. We don't want to hear your stories. People need help. We need help. So I'm not saying that I have the biggest and best story ever in the world, but at the same time, if I can help one person with their move or one person with a transition in their life, I've done my job. So thank you for coming to another episode of Big Little Mia. I will see you back here next Wednesdays. Uploads on Wednesdays. Sometimes we do a Monday or a Friday lifestyle, because I did a lot of shit just to live this here lifestyle. So yeah, we do the lifestyles like a Monday or a Friday or maybe a little Wednesday post. But meet me here next Wednesday for some chats. I think that next episode is gonna be who I was versus who I was becoming. Woo! Deep cuts. Deep cuts. Like, share, subscribe. If you're a TikToker, I'm on TikTok too, Big Little Mia TV. If you're on Instagram, it's the Mia Janelle. If you're a Substacker, it's Big Little Mia. I'm everywhere. I'm like, no, that was gonna be a really bad metaphor. Okay, bye.